So Jonathan, welcome to the Greenspoon Kitchen. It's great to have you here. It's been a while since we last saw you.
4 years, thanks to COVID, but it's great to be back. Love coming here, and the interruptions have been very tedious, so it's really nice to be back.
Yeah, that's really cool. And you've come all the way from Australia. That's amazing.
Well, you know, it's what we do. It's the tyranny of distance, but you know, like all things, we're all used to it. But as I said, it's just great to be back after all this time.
Yeah, and we just love having Australian wine on Greenspoon. Very special New World wine, right? So to celebrate you coming back to Kenya, Jonathan, we have this amazing bottle of Madeleine Alice, and nothing says celebration like this. But tell us, why is it called Madeleine Alice?
Well, it's actually named after my daughter, and my sons are not happy about that. They don't have a wine named after them, but I keep saying to them that we're all equal. Some are more equal than others, though. So it's named after her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. How old is she?
She's 19 now.
Oh, so she can drink it as well.
She can drink it as well, and she does.
Yeah.
So which is great. So, but you know, she's chuffed, which is good. So Madeleine Alice, being who she is, nothing but the best for her. So it's made in a traditional method. Fermented in bottle, made out of the classic Pinot Noir and Chardonnay grape varieties, and it's made in a dry style, which suits her sense of humour, as it turns out. So bright, fresh, aromatic, lovely textured sparkling wine.
So this is Adelaide Hills Sauvignon Blanc, a popular white wine on Greenspoon, and we're just so happy to have Jonathon Hesketh here to tell us about it.
Yeah, great. Look, it's very bright, fresh, aromatic, lime, citrus, refreshing Sauvignon Blanc. Not sweet and sour like some of them can be, real even ripeness, but a lovely textured, delicious, fresh white wine for the climate here, which actually works really well. Nice thing about the Adelaide Hills, really cold climate, so it makes a really zesty, fresh Sauv Blanc. So, you know, getting home after a day at work to have a taste.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I'm definitely getting that kind of fruity,
Gooseberry,
like, yeah,
passion fruit.
Yeah.
Passion fruit. Fresh and lively, but really nice palate weight and texture as well.
And what would you usually serve this with? Like if you were having it with food, or would you have it before you had supper? Or?
I'd probably I'd just crack it when I got home from work. So having it really, you can have it with food, but probably light, you know, white sauce pastas, that sort of thing. But generally speaking, for me, it's like a refreshment in many respects. And being Sauvignon Blanc being so, I guess, alive, it's just a really nice thing to take the stress of the day away at the end of the day.
Yeah, I love a good Sauvignon Blanc.
Yeah.
So Jonathon Hesketh of Hesketh Wines, what is this wine? Lobethal.
Lobethal, it's Chardonnay from the Adelaide Hills, and Lobethal is a sub-district of the Adelaide Hills. So with these wines, we like to really focus on that sense of place and exactly where they're from, because the nuances of Lobethal, let's say compared to the Piccadilly Valley, which is also in the Adelaide Hills region, the wines taste different because of where they're grown. So this is effectively Chardonnay, which is kind of see some oak in terms of the maturation of the wine, probably more textural than say Sauvignon Blanc, a bit richer in flavour. So it's a great drink for a number of occasions, and Chardonnay is just probably the most, I guess, versatile white grape variety. It works in any number of scenarios, so makes it a delicious drink.
Maybe I could try it for it.
Sure.
So Jonathan, this is so interesting because I didn't expect Chardonnay to be this light.
Well, the colour's light, but the flavour's quite medium to full-bodied and quite textural, and as the wine gets older, it will develop more colour. So being a 21 vintage, you're going to see sort of lightness and freshness in the wine, but also with texture from the oak components and the fermentation. So.
But with a Chardonnay, is this a wine that you can actually lay down, not necessarily lay down, but wait a year or two for, whereas a Sauvignon Blanc, you should drink it fresh?
Yeah, Sauvignon Blanc's very much about fresh and early, whereas Chardonnay will age very well for 5 to 10 years. And you're thinking kind of sort of white Burgundy, Chablis sort of style of the wine in terms of how it's made. So it's got some oak, it's got freshness, but it's got texture, and those elements will help it age and develop complexity as it gets older.
So I'm here with Jonathon Hesketh, and please tell us a bit about these two wines.
Okay, well, Parker Estate is a property that our family bought 12 years ago. It's been around since the mid-80s. And what we have, it's from Coonawarra in the southeast of South Australia, and we have two Cabernet Sauvignons. They're both very different though. We have the Favourite Son Cabernet, which is 2020 vintage, and we have the Tau Rossa Cabernet, which is 2017. The differences are, apart from the vintage, is that as you go up in price, we don't tend to make bigger wines as you go up in price, but they tend to be more complex. They see more oak, they see a better caliber of fruit. So it's like a classification system where you go from good to better, if that makes any sense, and to more complex and more age-worthy and more structured. So both delicious drinks, but being the 2020 younger and fresher, the 17 a bit more age, a bit more complexity, a bit more structure, but both great examples of Cabernet Sauvignon from the southeast of South Australia.
Yeah, and I've heard of Cabernet Sauvignon being described a bit like an elephant. Like it's obviously going to get bigger as it gets older, but it's quite a bold kind of wine.
Yeah, look, the thing with Cabernet is it's got a lot of what we call tannin structure, and you think of tannin, you think about tea, has lots of tannin, so that's the grippiness and that mouthfeel. But if you've got high quality fruit, you also get lovely, bright, dark fruit flavours, so that kind of offsets that tannin. But that tannin is what makes the wines age really well. So natural acidity, tannin, but also coupled with bright fruit, you end up with a lot of complexity. So these wines are probably more like sports cars rather than elephants, so that makes any sense.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
And I just have to say, with the favourite son, my mum bought this for me for my 40th. She bought the wine for the party and then put daughter, put a little sticker of daughter. It's a favourite in our house.
Well, and the nice thing about it is that it's like our saying at home is that, you know, we're all equal, some are more equal than others. And it's hard to pick your favourite wine, it's hard to pick your favourite child, right? So, but that's kind of where it comes from.
So are we going to taste this one?
Well, 17 vintage, I think maybe it's best if you keep that for a special occasion. So keep it up your sleeve.
Thank you.
Yeah. We can taste the favourite son, though.
Jonathan, this is an epic looking wine. I mean, this is such a cool label. Can you tell us how you came up with it and about the wine?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's Andrew Hardy's our chief winemaker, and his nickname from childhood age is Ox, because he's a bit of an ox. Lovely bloke, but he has a penchant for wearing pink shirts. So when we came up with the labels, it was more about reflecting him and his winemaking style, but also who he is as a person. And even though his nickname's Ox, pink shirts is always the way it works, and that's kind of where the labels came from, being the pink. The other thing is he has a passion for old cars, and he's got an old Austin Healey that's this beautiful navy blue colour. So it's the packaging is really about him and his passion, but the wines are absolutely beautiful. Classic McLaren Vale Shiraz, lovely medium to full bodied, great natural acidity, really dark fruit flavours. The sort of thing that it's just perfect with a steak or pizza, and really delicious wines.
Amazing. So St. John's Road, the Evangelist, this is another one of your wines?
It is. We have it's our estate in the Barossa Valley. And the Barossa Valley is probably the, I guess, most recognised district in South Australia. And what it's best known for is Shiraz and Australian Shiraz. So Barossa Shiraz, and being the Evangelist is that the idea behind this wine, it's the best Shiraz that we make. And we want it to be, I guess, a voice for Barossa Shiraz, hence the name. And being St. John's Road, it keeps to that kind of semi-religious theme in terms of being an evangelist and being St. John's Road. But the other thing about the labels too is that they're a map of the topography of the Barossa Valley, and the Barossa is effectively the valley floor, is the lowest point, and then it goes up to the high Eden Valley where you have cool climate and warm climate, whereas this wine is from 2 vineyards on the valley floor in the Barossa. So it's warmer, it suits Shiraz, makes lovely, rich, vibrant, classic Barossa Shiraz.
Delicious. So, Jonathan, as you probably know, at Greenspoon, we are all about seeking out the best quality products and looking after people with different lifestyles, different diets, and making sure that we can cater to that. So I think something that's really interesting about your wines is that they're all vegan, but what does that really mean?
So it's about what you don't do as opposed to what you do. So to find the wine, to take the solids out of it, you can use milk powder, you can use egg white, you can use isinglass. We don't use those fining agents. So it's about what we're not doing as opposed to what we are doing. So the wines are less processed as a result, but they are vegan friendly because we're not using any animal products with them. So so if being vegan friendly is important to you, then these are all fit the bill.
That's amazing. And the other thing that comes up is people's concern around sugar and sugar intake.
Absolutely.
So I think that's also another really interesting thing to talk about, because there, some sweet wines, some dry wines. How do you sort of deal with this question about sugar?
Well, there is a perception that all wine has sugar in it, which it doesn't. Sweet wines obviously do. We don't actually make any sweet wines, we make dry wines. So what was once grape sugar is now alcohol in our wines, and there's no residual sugar in the wine. So when we say no residual sugar, we're talking maybe less than a gram per litre. So to taste it, you need to have about 2 grams per litre, but these are well below that threshold, so they're effectively bone dry. So no sugar really whatsoever.
It's just alcohol.
It's just
Happy
alcohol.
days.
Well, you have a choice between the two. You can take alcohol or sugar. We prefer to take alcohol.
Yeah, I'm with you. Jonathon Hesketh, thank you so much for visiting the Greenspoon Kitchen. It means a huge amount to us to have your wines on our website and feel connected. Haven't met you.
Well, you know, it's the second time we've been here. We'll be back again, and it's really, really happy to be working with you guys, and love being back in Kenya. So it pleasure's all mine. So thank you.
Karibu sana.
Thank you.